Describe the music you were listening to when you were my age.
The music I was listening to, 18, 19, 20 years old, was probably more like Southern rock, REO Speedwagon, Eagles, Alabama, that kind of thing. Rock's what we listened to. That's all I listened to. I didn't listen to country or rap or anything else. The Eagles album, Hotel California, a lot of the music came from that album. It was all very good music. A lot of storytelling. There's a lot of more easygoing music from James Taylor and Dan Fogelberg, and more, again, storytelling, ballads, that kind of thing. Albums were still the most popular form of music that was being distributed, 45s or long-playing LP albums. We spent a lot of time listening to those albums and actually transferring them to cassette tapes. 8-track tapes had kind of gone by the wayside by that point. And you had to listen to music the whole way through to record it with microphones and speakers, and you couldn't just, like today with a computer, make copies of music. It had to be actually listened to and recorded. So you realized now, based on the quality of music, how bad the quality was then, because we didn't know any better. We all thought it was great. But, so you spend a lot of time listening to music while you're recording it to cassette tape, so you could listen to it in your car and be more mobile. You couldn't really afford to have albums. You didn't go out and buy music. You listened to what your parents had. So if your parents had something that was more mundane or more easygoing, that's what you listened to. It wasn't. I think it was still prevalent, but I think it was one of those things where you just didn't listen to it a lot. So as you got older and you had jobs, you could afford to buy your own music. That's when you really started to kind of flex your muscles in terms of what you were going to listen to and what quality and types of music you wanted to listen to. With the ability to put music on such small devices, little kids, very little kids, can now listen to just about anything. When I was coming up, you just whatever was on the radio is what you listened to. That was more the mobile music was radio. You didn't really listen to portable music until like the Walkman came out, and you could put a cassette tape in something and carry it with you. So today, I think music can be much more influential on a younger generation because the music's way more mobile. And if the adults who are the guardians of these children aren't careful, some of that music can get into the wrong hands at a very early age and can have an impact.
Thinking nothing but the worst is coming with the ringing of the telephone.
Well, there's probably still some of the discussion of drugs and sex and that kind of thing that was talked about in music coming out of the 60s and 70s. Probably got all bled into the 80s somewhat, but there wasn't any kind of a big war movement or anything like that where there was protest type music or anything. It was kind of a quiet time. It was more of a peaceful time, and I think the music was more relaxed, and it wasn't as hard rock was there, but it really wasn't as popular maybe as it became later. By the time that I got old enough to really start listening to music, it was more pop oriented. It was about making money. It was about artists, creating a catchy tune that they could sell to the masses and make money. I think it was more about that than it was about protest or making some kind of a statement. There was always underlying messages in music, which some of us didn't always get till later in life. When you start to go back and look at the music and listen to the words, you're thinking, they were talking about something that we probably didn't know about at the time. Well, probably the single biggest impact was, the Beatles were popular for a long time, but then they broke up and they went their own way. And then when John Lennon was killed, his music became more of an anthem against hate and not acceptance of people who were different. So his popularity actually grew, I think, at least in my mind. He got a lot more attention, and then even though the other members of the band went on to their own successes, his death actually promoted his causes even more than maybe his music did when he was alive. Music was either in your car, on the radio, or at home on a record player. That's how you listen to music primarily, unless there was the the local dance and where the teenage kids got together, going down to the beach after prom kind of thing. We used to all go down to Nag's Head, hop in a car, and meet our parents down there or friends down there and spend the weekend after prom. And there were a lot of those songs you played in your cars on the way down, at that point in life, and those kind of always bring back a lot of memories.
Forever.